So despite 2016 being the worst year ever for pretty much everything else, surprisingly, one of the few things that actually fared well this year was animation. Seriously, 2016 was a really good year for animation. We saw a lot of great shows that people really like come back. We saw the premieres of a lot of really good new shows, but we'll talk more about that in the next video. We saw one of the best shows to come out in years go out in a blaze of glory, and we even got a glimpse of what the future might hold. It was even a really good year for animated movies. It was such a good year, in fact, that I decided that I'm going to do something that I've never done before. And in retrospect, I'm actually not sure why I've never done this before, but in addition to the best and worst animated series list, I'm also going to do a best animated movies list. So be sure to look out for that. And to be honest, I didn't even think there'd be a worst list this year. I actually had trouble coming up with 5 really bad shows. But I did some digging and I found a couple that kind of slipped under my radar. Yeah, they thought they can escape me. Nice try. You're all gonna sit there and listen to all of the mean things I have to say about your hard work, you bunch of frauds. I'm sorry, that went a little too far. Please don't take this video personally. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the 5 worst animated series that came out in 2016. So here's the criteria, and once again, I must reiterate, these are new shows. These are new shows that had their official premiere on US television in 2016. So stuff like Teen Titans Go is not on the list. Oh, and just as a friendly reminder, Teen Titans Go premiered in 2013. Yup, it's almost 4 years old. Wow, 4 straight years of nothing but crap. That's a respectable kind of suck. But it still sucks. But yeah, on this list are new shows, not new seasons. Although, reboots count. Oh boy, do they count. So let's get into this. Number 5, or as I like to call it, the meh position, Future Worm. So this show actually had a series of shorts before 2016. They would show them on Disney in between episodes and during commercial breaks and things like that. But it actually had its official series premiere in 2016. So this is one of those random crazy shows that comes out every once in a while that doesn't really know how to do random properly, because it's just non-stop nonsense shoved in your face. The show is about a kid named Danny who meets this hyper-intelligent pro wrestler worm from the future, and they go off and do crazy sci-fi things. So essentially this is a kid's version of Rick and Morty, or at least an attempt to make a kid's version of Rick and Morty, without remembering all of the things that make Rick and Morty good. You know, I didn't actually pay much attention to this show, but after watching it, I was actually very disappointed in it because I wanted to like this. This is a pro-science show. Yeah, every time something happens, they would solve their problem using science, and sure, it would be done in a wacky, crazy way, but the point is they figured out a solution to the problem. But unfortunately, it's done in the worst way possible. There's not really any substance to this show. It's just randomness for the sake of randomness. Not the worst show to come out this year, but still pretty bad. Number 4, Right Now Kapow. Ooh, back-to-back Disney. That's not good. First of all, this show is just an eyesore to look at. When was it decided that most cartoons nowadays need to look like bad acid trips? What, are the 60s coming back? I mean, they could come back, but this isn't the way to do it. I don't even think the show is that unfunny, but it's more the implications behind the show that really gets under my skin. This was a collaboration between Disney and Warner Brothers. The two titans of entertainment and animation were working together on something, and this is what they made. I am hoping this will open doors for more collaborations in the future, but as for this show, just skip it. Number 3, Border Town. Yeah, this is one of the shows I missed, and it's because it was canceled pretty quickly. I was kind of curious about this one, so I tried to watch some of it, and honestly, it was pretty hard to get through. The show takes place in this town called Mexifornia, and it centers around this Border Patrol guard who lives next door to a Mexican family, so it's full of edgy racial humor. Ooh. This show is pretty typical of stuff that Fox occasionally likes to put out to see if it becomes popular enough to, air alongside Bob's Burgers and The Simpsons, but usually they just get canceled. And yes, they pulled the plug on this show very quickly because, believe it or not, even Fox has standards. What the next show's excuse is, I don't know. Number 2 is Legend of Chamberlain Heights. Ugh. This is a Comedy Central show that I neglected to talk about, and I'm not really sure why I didn't talk about it, because it seems to be everywhere. Comedy Central apparently wants this to be the next big thing. There's commercials, there's reruns, everything. This show has some of the worst animation I've seen in a while. I don't even think I can call it animation. It's just like one frame where a character will open their mouth and be like this, and then they walk and they kind of waddle along. It's unacceptable. And I know what you're going to say. Well, South Park doesn't have great animation. Yeah, well, South Park isn't popular because of its animation, okay? It's because of its content. And this show has no good content. Another thing South Park has going for it is that it's not as ugly as Sin. This show is just hideous to look at. I'm not kidding when I say I know children that can draw characters better than what appear in this show. The rest of the show is run-of-the-mill at best. This feels like a show that MTV would have put out in like the early days of Flash animation on the internet. I can't even believe this came out in 2016. This looks like a show that someone made like 15 years ago and then just stored on a hard drive and it was left in a desk drawer somewhere. And like I said, Comedy Central is just trying to push this show really hard. Apparently it's already been greenlit for a second season. Ugh, this is like Comedy Central's version of Teen Titans Go. Ugh, God help us all. Okay, so before I get to number 1, I have to say a few things. So, the number 1 worst show of the year was something that I did a Rob Watches on. And I gave it a pretty good review. Now, the one thing to keep in mind about when I do Rob Watches videos is that they're supposed to be first impressions. I give it, 3 episodes, maybe 5, maybe more if I'm really getting into the show. And if I think it's decent at first, then I'll say it's decent. But things can change over time, and there are some things that maybe I overlooked, too. Also, I have a firm belief that bad shows come and bad shows go. And when bad shows go, when like Legends of Chamberlain Heights goes off the air, nobody's going to be talking about it anymore. And they quickly get forgotten about while good shows are fondly remembered. But what is also remembered is when a show ruins something people really liked. Number 1 is Powerpuff Girls. And I don't care what anyone says. This show is a reboot. It's not a continuation of the original show. There is nothing anyone anywhere will say to me that will convince me that these are the same characters from the original Powerpuff Girls show. They're not. I actually went back and rewatched a bunch of episodes of the original series, and I even found a couple episodes that I had never even seen before. Some really cool and disturbing episodes, too. And the thing to take away from the original series is it took its audience seriously. It was, sure, meant for kids, but it said that we have enough faith in you that you're going to be able to handle this. The new show is lame. The new show is not fun. It's just watered down tripe. They made the new show safe. Safe is not interesting. Safe is not fun. Safe is boring. I'm beginning to think that the people that worked on the show didn't actually care about it. They just wanted the name just to try and get people to watch. And all they made was just an insult to the original. And to prove my point, one of the things I didn't bring up in my Rob Watches video was the animation errors. The animation errors that people are still pointing out to this day. Big, blatant, easy to correct animation errors. There's just no excuse for this nowadays. It's one thing to be a bad reboot, but a bad reboot with this level of piss poor production? Ugh. I really hate to pull out the old cliche, but watch the original, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You know, I also caught a glimpse of the reboot of Ben 10. It hasn't premiered in the US yet, thank God, so it didn't make the list. But watching that and Powerpuff Girls, it's just like, do you remember when superheroes used to do like heroic stuff? Can we please go back to that? Well, that was my list of worst cartoons of 2016. Leave a comment below and let me know what your least favorite show of 2016 was. My name is Rob, and be sure to look out for my best list coming out soon. And as far as that whole superhero thing goes, let's just say we're making strides to improve.